Hi there, it's time to take a look at another game from my collection, and this time I'm going to be looking at a Sega Saturn game. It's In the Hunt, or Kaitei Daisensou as it's known in Japan, and that is the Japanese version that I'm showing there, which is what I'll be playing on my Sega Saturn. So let's take a look at the fact file for this game. So In the Hunt was released in 1995 in Japan. It's based on the IRM Corporation arcade game from 1993. There are also American and European versions of the game available. In Japan it was published by Imagineer and it was developed by Sims Corporation, and the price I paid for this game many moons ago was £12.50. The current going rate for the Japanese version ranges from anything from £50 to £100, and if you want to pick up a European or US version of the game it's going to set you back at least £150. So In the Hunt is a submarine based shoot 'em up, so let's immerse ourselves in the game and see what it's like. So before I take a look at the packaging, just want to say that I'm going to be playing this game on my PAL Sega Saturn. The Japanese one's given up the ghost. It won't read discs. In fact, it won't even spin the CDs in the drive anymore. So that's the end of that. So luckily I've got the action replay cartridge with my PAL Sega Saturn, so I'm going to be using that to play this game. That does mean it'll be in 50Hz rather than 60, but I don't think anyone will probably notice that when you see my gameplay footage. So there we go, that's that. So here's the packaging. Typical CD jewel case as all the Japanese Saturn games came in, or most of them. Quite a nice bit of artwork on the cover. You've got a submarine top left there and some kind of monster breathing fire by the looks of it, and you've got the name of the game in Japanese, and it also says torpedoes armed and ready underneath it, although it actually spelt torpedoes wrong. It says torpedoes armed and ready. And you've got the classic Sega Saturn logo down the side. So on the spine, on one end you've got it written in English, Kaitei Daisensou, or however you say that, which is the Japanese name for the game, and on the other end of the spine you've got it in Japanese, of course. So then looking onto the back of the CD, we've got a few screenshots of the game. It's a horizontally scrolling shooter, and lots of Japanese text which I can't read. That'll be the name of the game again, and otherwise no idea. And a bit more text at the bottom there, some of which is in English, and some of it, most of it in fact, is in Japanese. And you can see the copyright down there, Sims Corporation 1995, and the original games by IRM Corp. That's the arcade game released in 1993. So let's take a look inside, and firstly I've got the spine card for this one. Spine cards, collectors love them. Frankly I don't really care one way or the other, but there it is. And here's the CD, which is pretty similar. You can see the same images on the front cover of the disc, so yeah, it's nice, nicely presented. And so let's take a look at the manual, which is going to be primarily in Japanese, no doubt, but let's have a quick look through it. I imagine it's going to have some nice artwork. Once again, you've got that artwork from the front cover. Wow, that's psychedelic. Yeah, I mean, it's all in Japanese, so I'm not going to dwell on this for too long. Okay, there's a submarine called Granvia, it seems. Lots of description about that. Okay, there's a little bit of English there. You've got some bad spelling again. Supersonic torped, cracker, torpedo, homing missile, mine, search missile, upper missile. I mean, this is obviously all your different weapons, I presume. So let's move on. Controls, no idea. I'll find out when I load it up. Screenshots, yeah, game over happens. Look, that confirms it. And then it goes through the different stages as well by the looks of it. So stage 1. Lots of names of things that you're going to be fighting, presumably. Sugon, Manriki, Trumpet. It's not a very terrifying sounding name for a boss, which I'm presuming that's what this is. J3, Execuret. That's the last boss, or is it? Because it's got a question mark there, so maybe it isn't. And then there's some other things. Gonk, Ginger, Vanessa. There's lots and lots of characters or vehicles with names. Oh, here we go, there's a bit of English here. Mission accomplished, but still what I see in front of me are all enemies, including ones that were my friends before, so the fight continues. So, is that the sort of end of the game that it's showing you in the manual there? I'm not entirely sure. And there's also some credits that are also in English, strangely, when almost the entire rest of the manual is in Japanese. So, whatever. I mean, it looks quite nice. It's got lots of nice imagery and stuff like that, so let's load it up and see what it's like. So the game's loaded up this full motion video sequence, which I'm guessing wasn't in the arcade version of the game. It's very grainy. Strangely got kind of an image in the middle of the screen and then the same image larger but slightly sort of faded out behind it, so that's a bit weird looking. and as you can see there's some dolphins swimming around. Presumably they're not friends of Echo, and some submarines rising from the deep. Very, very grainy footage of the submarine here going through the water. The cheesy rock soundtrack as well, although I do like cheesy rock, so I don't mind that. So we've got some speech as well. Submarines firing at each other. Explosions.
No damage. Same heading. Full speed ahead. All subs ready. Torpedo. Armed and ready. Fire.
And a nice big explosion as some torpedoes hit some other torpedoes, and I think we're done. I think we're now going to load the title screen up. Yeah, here we go. Here's a title screen, more traditional 2D. I'm assuming this is pretty similar to the arcade game, if not exactly the same. Some explosions in the water, and the name of the game in Japanese, Rising from the Depths. Yeah, and there we go, it lights up. And you see all the credits at the bottom there. Sims Corporation, original game IRM Corporation. Let's press the start button. I'm assuming we're going to get some options. Yep, so we've got 1 or 2 player start. Obviously I'll just be playing 1 player. Let's take a look at the options. Got difficulty, wow, easy, normal, hard and madness. We'll stick with normal. Number of ships, we can go up to 5, so let's do that. Sound, yes I want sound. Music, yes I want music as well. So we'll exit out of that, and then we'll hit 1 player start and start the game. Okay, so here we go, stage 1, the South Pole. So we're starting at the bottom of the Earth. It's the 6th of April 93 and it's cloudy. Yeah, not sure what's going on there, but I assume that's year 2093 that's meant to be, perhaps? I'm not really sure. Okay, so here we go. Stage 1. Force your way into the DAS base immediately and destroy their system before it's too late. And avoid those big whales. So here we go, it's a scrolling shooter, but with a little bit of a difference, because it doesn't scroll automatically, it doesn't scroll until you move forward. And so you're armed with weapons, as you'd expect, because it's not a very good shoot 'em up if you're not. So the A button fires a torpedo forwards at a reasonable rate, but not too much, not too quickly. And the B button fires things up and down, so you drop depth charges down, and if you get close to the surface, these things will turn into like machine gun fire, I suppose you would say, and you can shoot those up. But underneath the water, they're more like torpedoes firing up. So interesting weapon system, and you can get power-ups later in the game. But the other thing to note is that if you press the C button, it fires. You can hold it down and it just fires them endlessly. So that's what I'm going to be doing, because that makes life a heck of a lot easier. Save my thumbs. So yeah, basically 2D shooter with some pretty good depth of field in the water, nicely drawn backgrounds, nice water effect at the top there as well. So I've got a power up which has made some of my, now it seems that my bombs firing upwards kind of sit on the surface a little bit. I don't know if that makes them better or worse really. A couple of collectibles there by the looks of things. One good thing is you can shoot the enemy torpedoes, which is handy because they fire a lot of them and they're quite big. So let's just go up to the surface again. Okay, yeah, so my weapons have been powered up because the surface weapons are a little bit more powerful as well. So yeah, it's quite unusual to have a game, a scrolling shooter where you do the scrolling yourself. That's more sort of run and gun territory, so that's a bit interesting. And speaking of run and gun, and you'll see this as we move along through the game, this game I think was developed, at least by some of the people, at least the graphics were, that did Metal Slug later for the Neo Geo systems, because, well, you'll see a very Metal Sluggy kind of effect on some of the enemy vehicles and backgrounds and things like that as we go through the game. So yeah, there's a huge boat here which I've got to destroy, and when this boat comes onto the screen, much like Metal Slug, the game slows down horrifically. Yeah, look at the state of this, it's really sluggish. So there's obviously a big gun there I'm supposed to destroy, I guess. Oh yeah, I've got it now. So yeah, I'm not really sure. I just can't, it's kind of like the enemy boss vehicles in Metal Slug. I think you just keep plugging away at them, and eventually, oh, I've got shot by something. You get a lot of bullets on the screen. Oh yeah, that boat's gone now, so I must have destroyed it. So yeah, you get a lot of projectiles on the screen, and the background's quite busy at times, so it's quite hard to spot them. But I'll do my best to progress through this level. Obviously you can progress through as fast or slow as you like. Enemies do seem to respawn in places, so it's probably best to make your way through as quickly as you can, whilst also trying to avoid stuff. So yeah, lots of these things are very like Metal Slug, these turrets here. So yeah, lots of projectiles, lots of enemies. I don't know if that's really doing anything there. There we go, I've got it. The explosions remind me a lot of Metal Slug as well. Sound effects, okay, I mean the usual sort of explosions, I guess. Music, it's a bit too quiet to really make out, but I guess it's okay as well. Nothing outstanding in any respect really. The graphics are really nicely drawn, you know, really nicely drawn 2D sprites. It's all a little bit sort of grey and dark. I guess that befits a sort of army kind of theme, but I would have liked to see a bit more colour, just to make it a little bit more vibrant perhaps, but it's okay. I mean, I don't think there's anything spectacular about it. Maybe in 1993 there was, but I've seen a lot better shooters since. So let's just see what progress we can make. As you can see, tons of slowdown, tons of projectiles being thrown around. So yeah, you really got to just hold that C button down basically and blow everything up would be my recommendation, and try not to get shot. Because the levels don't scroll, they seem really like huge. I don't know if they really are. If they were scrolling themselves, I don't know if you'd feel like the levels were so big, but because, oh dear, that's going to be an explosion. Yeah, this thing's just chucking up. There we go, let's just kill it like that. Yeah, huge slowdown when you get loads of explosions on the screen, and that's not a good sign really for the end of level boss when we get to that. So I guess you can just skip past enemies if you want to. What's going on here? Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so these things are firing sort of ice beams, I suppose, which you've got to break through. So that's a neat touch. There's any speed power-ups, and the submarine moves quite slowly. Oh dear, yeah, I was trying to drop the depth charges on them and that did not work. Yeah, lots of enemies kind of just appear as you get over the top of them as well, which is not ideal. Oh, okay, I've trapped in the ice only for a split second though. I guess you have to press a button to shake out of that, or wiggle the submarine around maybe. Ooh, blimey, things are getting a little bit more hectic in terms of the number of enemies now, and there goes another life. So yeah, it just seems like you make quite slow progress through the levels because you have to scroll them yourself rather than waiting for the, well, you know, rather than scrolling automatically like a normal scrolling shooter would do. So it's quite unusual in that respect, I suppose. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say really. I think I'll just progress through and see if I can get to the end of the level boss, see how far I can get, or see if I get bored before I make any decent progress, I suppose. But yeah, the slowdown, it's got a huge iceberg sprite there, and the slowdown is pretty horrendous. I don't know if that's unique to the Saturn or whether it was like that in the arcade version. Don't think I've ever played the arcade game, certainly no more than a cursory play of it, I suspect, at some point. Yeah, huge numbers of sprites being thrown around, which obviously 2D gaming was the game over, but I can continue. 2D was the Saturn's forte, although this doesn't seem to be a great example of its 2D prowess with all the slowdown, but I guess that's down to programming rather than the capability of the machine. Okay, what's going on here? Okay, here we go, here's the end of level boss. There's nothing like smart bombs or anything like that either, so it's very much just whatever guns you've got or what you're stuck with. Oh blimey, yeah, there goes another life. what is going on here. Don't really know. And I lost another life. It's not going particularly well, this game. Guess just shoot away and try not to get killed by the things, the projectiles it's shooting out. There's a lot of like watery effects that are just quite annoying. No health bar on the enemy thing, so no idea when I'm going to destroy it. It's just shoot away and keep shooting basically. I'm clearly not very good at this game. Maybe get underneath it. Oh no, that seems like a terrible idea now. Oh no, that's going to be bad. I guess just avoid those things. Oh, have I got it? I think I've got it. I guess I've got it, because I've gone past it now. That's the only bit where you feel like you're scrolling automatically as well, strangely. And all it's done is put some movement effects in the background. So there you go, completed stage 1, got loads of bonus things, and move on to stage 2, I guess. So I'm now on stage 2, which is called the channel, and this one doesn't scroll downwards, so I'm just on the surface all the way through, it would appear, at least for the short term. So it's going to be mostly air-based enemies, I guess. Well, that's a power if it's dropped, okay. Oh, well, there's a big oil rig here. This level's a little bit more colourful. Not really colourful, I mean, they're still all like muted tones, but you wouldn't really expect like nice pinks and reds and greens and things like that in this kind of game, I suppose. So yeah, there's a big like oil rig here, which you don't seem to be able to destroy any of. You're just kind of going past it, so it's just background. And really, I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on here, and the background's very distracting because of how much detail there is in it. It looks great, and again, those Metal Slug influence, or I should say the graphics that ultimately were similarly used in Metal Slug, kind of showing themselves here. But what have I got to do here? Go underneath this thing? I guess so. Oh man, you've got no chance of getting under that without getting shot. Yeah, yeah, it's obviously quite a hard game, as most Japanese shooters were at this point in time. You can just sit in one spot and shoot respawning enemies, which is a great way of score leeching if you want to do that, if you were playing for a high score. But since you've got well, I don't know if you've got unlimited credits, but certainly multiple credits, and the score doesn't reset itself, it does that thing that some of these arcade games do, where if you continue, it adds 1 to the end of the score, which would otherwise be 0 if you were on a single credit. So you can tell, but yeah, you can just continue forever, which doesn't really make it like sort of make you want to kind of try and get better at it, because you can just plug your way through it. That's assuming I can continue endlessly. Wow, look at the amount of stuff being thrown around here, and somehow I'm surviving through this. But I feel like actually the best approach is just to keep moving. Some walkers in this bit again, you'd see them a few years later in the Metal Slug games. What's going on here? Can I even shoot this thing? I don't know, let's just go past it. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it does seem like actually, although it doesn't scroll, to say, oh look at all the little men running out of that tank, that's cool. Yeah, kind of the best approach is just to keep moving, to stay ahead of these things. Ooh, yeah, that's got me. Is that another game over? It is, but yeah, I can continue again, and now you can see the score's got 2 at the end. As I was saying, that sort of denotes how many times you continued. So that's the thing, that if you're playing for a high score and you wanted to compare it to other people, they would know whether you'd played it more than 1 credit. So that's pretty smart for those people who are high score chasers and all that kind of thing. But yeah, again, it's quite bland. It's just run along, shoot, hope for the best. What's going on here? Oh, there's a train. Okay, so I don't. So there's missiles on the back. Okay, yeah, these missiles are going to drop off this train and drop on me and blow me up. And I got in the way of that. So yeah, I've blown. I don't know what I'm doing now. Again, it's just huge explosions, loads of slowdown. Yeah, and they're blowing the bridge up now, so the trains come crashing off it, and I guess we carry on. And yeah, it's just more of the same. It's a little bit. Don't know what these stars are for. Are they just
points. I'm not really sure. But yeah, it's not that much fun of a game. It's, I don't know, it's just a bit sluggish, if you pardon the pun, relating it to Metal Slug. There's not really anything too exciting going on. It's just run along and shoot, and yeah, obviously if you were good at these games you could show off by getting really far on one credit, but that's not me. So, oh, I think when it all sort of goes still for a second, that's when the boss is coming on. Yeah, I guess this is the boss here. This is going to be one where you mostly just have to shoot up at it, I presume. Yeah, okay. Okay, so it's going to blast these guns down and you've got to shoot the guns. Oh, trying not to get shot by it, I wasn't paying attention then. Oh, yeah, so if you go to the bottom of the sea, you can avoid the guns, but you can't shoot the guns, so you've just got just a timing thing basically. It'll probably get more difficult before I complete it. There's another one blasted. Yeah, so things keep coming back and replacing the guns, annoyingly. It's pretty tedious. It's a nice looking game for sure, but it's a pretty average shooter, I would say. I know it's quite highly regarded by a lot of people, but I'm not really sure why. And yeah, with the unlimited or seemingly unlimited continues. Oh, what's going on here now? Is it dead? No, something else is happening now. What the hell? How am I supposed to avoid that? Seems somewhat unfair. I need to just sit in the right place, perhaps. This is throwing a lot of crap out at me. Well, I am getting some hits on it here. There's power up there, and I've got it. That was a lot of explosions. Yeah, so that's level 2 completed. Seemed a lot shorter than the first level. Let's move on to the third one, see how that goes, and I think that'll, the next time I get a game over I'll probably call it a day, because I'm not too impressed with this, and I think given what it cost me all those years ago, 12 quid or whatever it was, and what it goes for now, which seems to be in excess of 50, I think this is a definite sell. I think the money in my bank account will be worth a lot more than this game sitting on my shelf. So anyway, stage 3 is the seabed ruins. Let's see what awaits us. It's unclear. I assume that means the weather's unclear, not the aim of this stage. Okay. What are we doing then? Oh, something's woke up. Oh, okay. Oh, we're going up this time. Already got quite a significant slowdown. Okay, so it's upward scrolling, but again at my own pace. And this thing's chasing me. This creature statue thing is chasing me up to the top of the screen. There's a very big submarine there. Just going to avoid it. Some very satisfying explosions, I will say that. It's a shame this pad doesn't have vibration, because I imagine you can almost feel the vibration without actually having any vibration on the pad. Yeah, I guess from the audio side of things, but oh, there's lots of mines. Oh, it's so slow. Slowdown is abysmal on this level. So many sprites being flown around, and it's just so slow. Yeah, so you can blow those up, but when you do, you've got to avoid the explosions from them. I've got 1 life left. Can I be bothered to continue again? I don't really think so, but we'll see how we get on. I guess maybe complete the end of this level. I'll continue one more time. Oh, what we've got here, we've got to shoot through all these blocks. Okay. Oh, there's things coming through from the right there as well, and that's killed me. So, go on, let's continue one more time. Oh, it started me in the middle of a brick wall there. There's loads of power-ups or things. I don't really think these are power-ups, they're just kind of score collects. Well, I've died again now. Oh, okay, because this thing's coming up. I've got no chance of getting away from that, because I've got to go through all these bricks. Oh, yeah, it's very tedious. Oh, it's just so slow. The movement of this thing at the bottom of the screen is just making it so slow. Oh dear. Every brick's like a separate sprite as well. It's like, oh, tedious. Okay, things have sped up a little bit because I've got him off the screen at the moment. So if you can keep moving to the top, maybe the speed will be more reasonable, but you've got all this crap coming down at you as well. Oh. I can't even see what's going on, there's that many sprites on the screen. I'm assuming the arcade version didn't have these slowdown issues because the hardware was better. But yeah. Yeah, it's still going, and it's just really quite dull. I'm quite disappointed by this game. I've had it in my collection for ages and never really played it past, you know, the first level or so. Okay, I think I must be at the end of the level now. This is like dropping huge bricks down at me. Oh god. Okay, let's try and get you. Oh, it's as if the slowdown wasn't bad enough. Now we've got these things dropping down, and it's dropping huge bricks and scattering them out into loads of sprites. It's absolutely painfully slow. Oh yeah, I mean, I've got one life left and then that's it. I've seen enough. As I say, pretty disappointing this one, to be honest. I was expecting more. I know it's quite highly regarded. I've had it in my collection a long time, but yeah, it's poor, and that'll do, I think. At that point, I don't feel like I want to continue anymore, even though I could indefinitely, it would appear, which takes all of the challenge out of the game, really, unless you really want to try and just get as far as you can with one credit. So there we go, that will do. That was In the Hunt, and yeah, it's now going in the for sale pile. If you've got any thoughts about the game, then let me know in the video comments.
That was In the Hunt then. Time for another game to be chosen out of the tin at random. And what will we get this time? Still a good bunch of systems in there, including quite a few Commodore 64 games, so let's see what we get. And it is... okay, it's actually two Commodore 64 games. Cybertron and Space Pilot. That's two games by the same publisher, which are based on arcade games, so I thought I'd review them both together since they're by the same publisher. So next time around, it's back to the Commodore 64 with reviews of Cybertron and Space Pilot. Thanks very much for watching this video, and I'll see you then in the next one.